Hello students, our today's topic is drive reduction theory of motivation. We have studied about the need theory of motivation. Now we will study drive reduction theory of motivation. According to drive reduction theory, humans are motivated to satisfy physiological needs in order to maintain homeostasis. Drive reduction theory, it was first proposed by Clark Hull in 1943. Proposed that the purpose of biological drives is to correct disturbances of homeostasis. According to Hull, physiological needs result in psychological drive states that direct behavior to meet the needs and ultimately bring the system back to homeostasis. Primary drives are innate biological needs. For example, thirst, hunger, and desire for sex, whereas secondary drives are associated with and indirectly satisfy primary drives. For example, the desire for money, which helps pay for food and shelter. Drives are thought to underlie all behavior, in that behaviors are only conditioned or learned if they satisfy a drive. Drive reduction theory has been criticized for failing to explain how secondary reinforcers reduce drive or why individuals engage in pleasure seeking behaviors. Now we have read certain terms here. The drive. What is a drive? That's acts of motivation like thirst or hunger that have primarily biological purposes. Homeostasis, the ability of a system or living organism to adjust its internal environment to maintain a stable equilibrium, such as the ability of warm blooded animals to maintain a constant temperature. Motivation, it describes the wants or needs that direct behavior toward a goal. Motivations are commonly separated into two types. Drives are acts of motivation like thirst or hunger that have primarily biological purposes, while motives are fueled primarily by social and psychological mechanisms. Now, drives and homeostasis, an earlier theory of motivation, this theory has proposed that the maintenance of homeostasis is particularly important in directing behavior. Homeostasis is the tendency to maintain a balance or optimal level within a biological system. In a body system, a control center, which is often part of the brain, receives input from receptors, which are often complexes of neurons. The control center directs effectors, which may be other neurons, to correct any imbalance in the body. For example, if it's been a while since you ate, your blood sugar levels will drop below normal. Low blood sugar induces a physiological need and corresponding drive state, for example, hunger, that will direct you to seek out and consume food. Eating will eliminate the hunger and ultimately your blood sugar levels will return to normal. Drive reduction theory also emphasizes the role that habits play in the type of behavioral response in which we engage. A habit is a pattern of behavior in which we regularly engage. Once we have engaged in a behavior that successfully reduces a drive, we are more likely to engage in that behavior whenever faced with that drive in the future. Drive reduction theory distinguishes between the primary and secondary drives. Primary drives are innate biological needs, for example, thirst, hunger, and desire for sex, that are usually necessary for survival. Secondary needs, on the other hand, are not usually necessary for survival and are often linked to social or identity factors. For example, the desire for wealth. Secondary drives are associated with primary drives because the satisfaction of secondary drives indirectly satisfied primary drives. For example, the desire for wealth is not necessary for survival. However, wealth provides you with money that can be used to acquire food, shelter, and other basic needs, thereby indirectly satisfying these primary drives. Secondary drives become associated with primary drives through classical conditioning. Now, there are the critics of drive reduction theory. There are several issues that leave the validity of drive reduction theory open for debate. For one, drive reduction theory has trouble explaining why humans and other animals voluntarily increase tension by exploring their environments even when they are not hungry or thirsty. There are also complications to drive reduction theory caused by so called pleasure seeking behaviors, which seem to be contradictory to the theory's precepts. Why would an individual actively seek out more stimulation if it is already in a state of relaxation and fulfillment? Proponents of drive reduction theory would argue that one is never in a state of complete fulfillment and thus there are always drives that need to be satisfied. So, it is all about the drive reduction theory. Thank you.